So this is day 3, video 3, but I'm going to do this video or this day in 2 videos. I'm going to do one for just domains and one for emails. I already did one complete one with emails and domains, and it is a little bit confusing. So I'm going to split the two, and you'll have 2 actual videos to watch. Number 1 is domains. We'll be talking about domains, what to do with domains, how to get them, great ideas. And number 2, the second video I'm going to make is all about emails. Okay, so let's start with domains. And a domain is the name you have for your website. Okay, so if you are looking at my domain, it is veronicajeans.com, right? That's my domain name, and it's right here at the top where it says veronicajeans.com. So if you're looking at this store, it says, it'll pop up in a minute, dustfumemist.com. That's the domain name, right? That's your domain name. Your store name, as you see here, is dustfumemist.myshopify.com, that's the back end of your store, where your administration is, where you do your orders, where you add your pages, your products and everything, right? So it's exactly the same thing in my Shopify store. I have a Shopify store as well. I'm not really selling anything except for courses and classes, and when you talk to me, blah blah blah. But this is my Shopify store name. As you can see, Veronica Lee Jeans is my store name. I had the domain, I lost it, I got it back again, but my actual domain name is Veronica Jeans. So what I'm trying to say is, what you name your store might not be what you eventually end up as your domain name. Okay, and we'll walk through it. I know you've watched the video before. I'll walk through it again, or if you haven't, this is the first time you've seen this. When you are we always have ideas about what we're going to call our stores, and we come up with some brilliant names. I have one here which is absolutelyv.com. Absolutely V. I have not used this store yet. I might use this store, I don't know. Let me see here if I can find it for you guys. Yeah, Absolutely V. Okay, so I'm still haven't decided whether I want to use this domain name or not. I might actually name it something completely different, because Absolutely V does not mean anything. It's just a very cute name, right? So either I have a very cute name that people might be able to remember, or I have a name that describes what I sell. So so if you're looking at Dust Fume Mist, they are selling stuff for dust, fume and mist environments. Okay, so I was going to look stores. So if you're looking at Coffee Box Club, it's all about coffee, right? Just Her Sports is about sports, and it's about her sports, right? And then obviously this is maybe a kids boutique, right? But Itsy Bitsy alludes to a children's boutique. Autistic Africa Gallery means artists from Africa, and it's a gallery. So you can see what I'm getting at is that you can either have a fancy name, or you have a name that actually describes what you're selling within the name. That's always a good idea. You can't always have it, but it's always a good idea. Okay, so how do you find a domain name? So now you have a name, and you're going to go, I want this domain. I normally go to GoDaddy and do my research. You can go on whois.org, or any major domain host, which means they are actually registering your domain. And Shopify will tell you if your domain is available or not. So if you are going on your domains, this is existing. Okay, so if we're going, say for instance, let me go on somebody that hasn't registered the domain yet. Let's have a look here. That has never been registered, it's never been online. I need to close some of these. Okay, so let's have a look here. I just want to show you what a clean store is like. Oh, so all that's been registered is my store name. So when you register your store, that's what's going to be registered as a domain name. Okay, it's not a real domain name. You should actually create your own domain. So now you can transfer your domain from somewhere else. You can connect to an existing domain. So if you have an existing domain, for instance, with GoDaddy or Namecheap or Bluehost or one of the big, I would suggest one of the larger domain hosts, then you can connect your existing domain. Or if you wanted your domain in Shopify, and I'll tell you the why it's a good idea maybe to have your domain with Shopify and maybe not. Okay, and then you can buy a domain, and I know from GoDaddy, for instance, it's $11.99 for the first year, and from Shopify is $14.99, but after the second year you pay more at, say for instance, GoDaddy, which is a domain host. Okay, so research. So when you decide what you want to call your store, you need to find out if the domain is available. So if I say absolutely V, I know it's not available, right? .com, let's see. And it'll search and search, and it will tell me it is not available. Okay, so it says unavailable since I have the domain, right? But you can have any of these domains. I would not suggest going anything but .com. If you are selling locally in Australia, Germany, Africa, maybe you want to, just in your country, then I would say .com, .au, .com, I think Germany is GD, or whatever your country is. If you want to sell internationally, you have to have a .com name. You don't have to, but I would suggest a .com name, because that's like the top tier of domain levels, right? What we call top level domain. All these other domains are secondary tiers. So anybody can actually, so if you're going to say, I want Absolutely V, I don't care if Veronica has Absolutely V, I want to register any of these other ones, okay? Then you are going to, say for instance, I'm going to say, I want to register .net, right? So you can buy .net, but I own .com. So when somebody is going to research online in Google and going to go, what was that store's name again? Absolutely V .com. Immediately people are going to think .com. They're not going to think .net. So I am going to get your customers easily. Okay. So if you have a .net, somebody else might get your customers if you are selling the same thing. But here is another aspect that you got to think about is, say for instance, if you didn't have the .com, you have the .net or the whatever, right, EU or whatever, digital or whatever you're going to decide on. What if you are selling kids clothes and the .com is a porn website? It could be, right? I've seen it. I've actually seen it. So I would suggest doing some research, making sure who has the .com. So if somebody say for instance, if somebody does not have the .com name, then what does so there's nobody stopping the somebody selling that .com to somebody that wants it for, that you don't want associated with your website or your competition with your website, right? You don't want to do that. So I would really recommend really doing big research on your name, and then also maybe calling it a little bit differently. So Gorgeous Natural Skincare, which is Tiffany, we couldn't get gorgeousnatural.com, right? Because it doesn't really mean anything. So Gorgeous Natural Skincare, if she's selling skincare, that's what she is. That's her niche market. So selling too many things is also not a good idea. So really niching down on what you're selling, because people will remember you for what you're selling, okay? Because you will be the skincare lady, or you will be the puzzle lady, or something like that, right? So that's how you got to think about your domain name, and also registering your domain at various domain hosts, okay? So I was mentioning GoDaddy, One-on-One. You can register your domain at any of these big domain hosting companies, or you can register it with Shopify. I would suggest you registering with Shopify because it's easy. It's not technical. You don't need anybody to set it up, but Shopify does have your domain. So if they go down, what happens to your store? To overcome that, I would actually have a domain with another domain host so that you can control it, but point that store also to your domain, to Shopify. Again, it's not easy. I don't think Shopify will go down very easily. It's one of the larger companies these days. Even the smaller companies have survived and grown. I always like to be in control of my destiny, okay? So let's go back to registering your domain. We've done that. I just want to keep it very simple, very easy. As I said, use GoDaddy, use One-on-One, use Namecheap, or use Shopify as I've done. So I have a domain outside Shopify, okay? Then I have a domain within Shopify, which I just registered. Boom. This is within Shopify. I've now got my veronicaleejeans.com back. I lost it. That's another long story. But I will show you why it is advantageous to actually have your domain in Shopify. So when we are looking, and I'm going a little bit into the email version of the next video, but here is why I like to, and I still have to verify my email address, but Shopify do not host your emails, but they give you 2 free emails that forward to your normal email address. That is for the next video. I just want to show you this so you know why it is advantageous to have these 2 emails. You can create them with your domain host, and I'll talk to you about that in the next video about when we're talking about emails, right? Emails. So again, research what you're doing with your domain, register it, make sure it's not too long. It's not a good idea to have a domain that's not too long. It is not easy to have a short domain because all the good names are done. Don't go and have just letters, PCIBS, which my brother registered, which doesn't mean anything, but it's a short domain. Again, rather spell out what you want to say in your domain as well. It'll help you with searches, and Google will see that you have a keyword in your domain. It is always a very good idea. So let me show you a couple of other things I want to show you, okay? Domain name. When you're registering your domain, remember to register the singular and the plural, Okay, so we had the Missing Piece Puzzle Company she had first. So we made it shorter because it takes up too much real estate. I mean, company doesn't mean anything. So, but it does point to her website. And I'll show you why that happens, okay? So we've shortened the domain name to the Missing Piece Puzzle, which is a puzzle, it's a piece, keywords, right? I don't know if she has Missing Piece Puzzle, Missing Piece Puzzle.com. Let's see who has it. Oh, the original Puzzle Exchange, you see. So you also got to see who has Puzzle Exchange. So obviously you can't buy anything here, but she registered this before I could advise her. So you see, this could have really been a strange website. Okay, so let's go back to the Missing Piece Puzzle Company. Now she has the Missing Piece Puzzles Company as well. Oops. Oh. I don't know. I want to go advanced. Proceed. I need to tell her this is not safe. So you got to. Oh, Lucy, Missing Piece Puzzles. Ha ha ha. So they do have the plural. You see here. This is. It's like a game, right? Let's see if she doesn't have it. They pinched it. See what I mean? You see what I mean? So you have to think of getting your plural and your singular. So Donna, the Missing Piece Puzzle lady, researched her competition. And so Venus Puzzle is one of the larger companies that she competes with. They're cheap Chinese, and the puzzles are not as robust as hers. They all come from China. Okay, so check this out. She did her research and realized they do not have the plural of Venus Puzzles. So she bought Venus Puzzles and pointed the domain to her website. Okay, and what I mean by that is, let me show you the domains. I have several. Okay, I've got Top Flight Ecommerce, I've got Veronica Jeans, obviously, your e-commerce business, all pointing to myveronicajeans.com website and store. Okay, that's what I mean. So try and get the plural of your domains, and because somebody can pinch it. Here's a story that I keep telling. I set up stores in 2000. It was extremely difficult. I had to code every single piece of 3,694 pieces of products by hand. Every single product had a different number, and it took me a long time. But the company is here in Houston, had a warehouse, employees, a retail store. They were selling wholesale, really big business. He inherited from his father, was growing it, doubled the money, say $3 million a year. Okay, so he had flags and poles.com, for instance. A guy in Florida registered flags and pole.com, whatever the name was, but the singular or the plural, I can't remember, and was selling out of his apartment 1.5 million products, turnover of products. Okay, so here's a guy in an apartment, no overheads, making a load of money because he registered the domain that was the plural or the singular of what my client had. That is why you have to make sure that you register your plural and your singular of your domain. Okay, if it makes sense. It doesn't always make sense. So research. If you don't know, ask me in the comments. Okay, I will quickly tell you what you need to do. Again, this is the first video of the 2 videos that I'm going to do for domains and emails. The next video is for emails. So watch the next one. Your next video is emails, what to do with emails, where to find it, how to register it, and what to use. See you in the next video.